Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar. We'll be starting here in about 5 minutes. Thanks. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We'll start here in about 3 minutes. Thanks. Hello and welcome to the VEST webinar series. I'm Frank Newsom, your moderator for today's webinar session. Today we are broadcasting live from IFPE 2023 and we'll be introducing new game-changing features just released in NetSkeme Hydraulic. This session is scheduled to last 30 minutes and is being recorded. You'll be able to submit questions or comments at any time by posting in the questions section located within your webinar control panel. Questions may be answered as they are posted, or we can try to address them in the last portion of the webinar. You may also choose to submit your question in the survey issued at the conclusion of the webinar. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today's webinar session, Carlo Malone. Carlo has worked in the hydraulics industry for many years and currently manages application sales and training for best desktop and cloud products. Carlo?
Thank you, Frank, for the introduction, and thank you all attendees for joining today's webinar. So today we'll go through our NetSkeme. It has been presented last year in a webinar, but we have new features, so it really makes sense to show you how easy it is to use and how many new functionalities we have been adding to the software. As you may know, or for those that are new to this technology, we speak about cloud software. You don't need to install anything in your machine. It will work in a browser. You'll need a Chrome browser or Firefox or Edge. We sign in, and if you had a session open previously, then you will get this warning, and you will get back to the last saved drawing in the cloud. NetSkeme is fully browse-based. I'm just press F11 so that it looks really full screen. We have the ability to find the symbols and components, but let me go through and start from scratch so that we understand a bit of the behavior of the software. We usually start with a new drawing, and we can start with a title block. Let me take an A3. For those working with the imperial unit, of course, we have settings for imperial units. On the left, we can load and pin what is the Library Explorer. A new feature of this current version is that we are now able to find the model data for manufacturer. We can filter by manufacturer. And if you know the model code, let me say that I need a HIDAC check valve RV10A and click search, automatically I get directly to the component. And the symbol related to that. It is also possible to open datasheet connecting to the symbol. In this case, we speak about a direct connection to the online database fluidpowertools.com. This new version of NetSkeme provides full data also for the components. So unlike the previous version, when we double click on the component, we'll see that the attributes are passed to the component in the diagram. Of course, we speak about not exact complete model code, but it will then be possible to type in the right model code. So CN30, and we can click OK to confirm. NetSkeme comes with a full database that you may be familiar with Hydro. So it is possible to look for symbols. Let me take a double pump symbol. So today my exercise will be trying to build a small dual pump system with a high-low system pressure. So I take my pump, and it is possible to quickly make a connection. So I'll make a connection from the P to the one of component 1. The right pump will be my high-low pump, so I just do a straight connection from there, and the low pressure pump will be connected directly to the high-low pressure. I'm now going to look for some relief valve. So you can do a screwing cartridge and pressure control and relief valve. But if you are familiar with model code, let's say I need a RV10-20 from Hydroforce, I'll be able to directly jump to that component, and by double clicking on the symbol, I can place the symbol in the drawing. Moving a symbol is very easy. You can just use the mouse or use the arrow keys from the keyboard. And I recommend using the arrow key. It will be very, very handy and easy to change position. It is possible to move a position also for item ID. In this current version, we don't display attributes like we are doing in Hydro. So although when you double click on a component, you will be able to type in a pressure setting, but now this is not yet visible in the drawing. So to do that, you will just add a text. That's something like an AutoCAD command in the cloud, and we just put our 180 bar pressure setting in there. And our relief valve will be connected just to the high pressure pump. And also we'll make a tank line, which is taking the relief valve down to the reservoir, which we'll draw later. Now I need to a system to unload my low pressure pump, and I look for a logic element, compensator, and I look for the symbol that I need, and later we'll see how to attach component data. So this is the symbol I need, and double click and place my symbol in the drawing. And this will be rotated to the left. And of course, we can also flip if we need. Let me flip it vertically, and you can move it, like in this case. I'm going to connect the pressure, the low pressure, with the inlet of this valve, and this valve will go to the tank. This system will serve as an unloading of the low pressure when the high pressure is reached on the high pressure line. So I need a sequence valve. So I go again on the symbol search, and I go to my pressure control folder and go to the sequence folder. And here I can find all the symbols, and I'll just need this symbol here. And this symbol I will just rotate to the right. Again, like I did for the relief valve, in this case, I will just put a new setting, which will be lower than the high pressure. So let me put 80 bar pressure for the low pressure pump. And this valve will be connected to the pilot line of that logic element. And we go to the tank also here. So this valve will basically unload the spring chamber for the element number 4 by reading the pressure on the high line. So basically that's the system. I have not defined this component. So in order to define a component that is already in the diagram, you select, right click, and click select from library. In this case, we have the ability to find the model data attached to a symbol. So we can see the symbol. We will be able to filter by manufacturer, and I can search, and I will look for a Hydraforce EV16S34. And again, like I did for the other component, I will be able to complete my model code. If you are not familiar with the model data, then you can click datasheet, and this will open the datasheet directly. So I'll just read and I'll take 0 and 40. Let me just switch back to that. And F11. So that will be my 0 and 40. Let me use all capital letters, and I click OK. Similarly, I'll do on the sequence valve. I click select from library. And like I did earlier, I will select again a Hydraforce component. Tomorrow we plan a webinar on NetBlock, and I will design this manifold. So I'll take this as exercise as a starting point for tomorrow demonstration. So I need to define boundaries for my manifold. So the manifold will be defined by using an envelope, and the envelope is just a rectangle that is crossing the connection lines. You of course can change the position for item ID in order not to overlap. My manifold can be edited in terms of attributes. So that will be my manifold IFPE, and the description is manifold, and the manufacturer will be Best Incorporated. We need some external port. So external port can be added by clicking on the manifold port. manifold port will add a new tab on the Library Explorer. And here we have the ability to define port sizes. So I'll add a 3x4 port size on the low pressure side. With a double click, you place the symbol. We'll need just to stretch the connection line. And as you see, it's very easy and intuitive. So high pressure, half an inch. Modifying a connection, you select just the connection line and drag the insertion point and reroute it automatically. We make jumpers and dots automatically in the browser. I'll add now another connection here. I could have connected all the tank lines. Let me keep them separate. So I will keep a T1 for the high pressure pump and a T2 larger one. Let me take a 1-inch BSP for the low pressure pump. 1 inch and 1/4 as my exit of the pump system. I'll need a test point, so let me take a 1x4 BSP port. Let me call MU, and with a double click, I place the symbol in the drawing. I can connect by just taking a pilot lines. It is possible to change connection, so you just drag the insertion point and fix it. And it is possible to stretch the envelope in order to reduce the size of your diagram. Remember, arrow keys makes it life much easier in terms of precision, and also all the symbol will stay in grid. If you don't like to view the grid, just click F4 or on the command down here. Let me just compact a bit the diagram. But of course, you may not need to do that, depending on how precisely you want to make the diagram. But usually, I like to have a diagram that is compact and easy to read. Now, I will add a reservoir. So sometimes I like to use the same symbol as the envelope for the reservoir, but later I show you how to build a new symbol on the fly. For me, this is a reservoir, edit, and that will be my reservoir, IFPE reservoir, and manufacturer is Vest Incorporated. To make a reasonably system, since this will be something like a power unit, I'll need some symbols from the power unit folder. So in Library Explorer, we have a folder called Reservoir and Power Unit Components, where you can find all the symbols that we need. So I need a air breather, and this will be edit. That will be a TAP 45, and that's a filler breather of MP filter. I need some coupling set and also an electric motor. And we'll need a bell housing. So always in the power unit component, power unit components, motor pump adapter, and with a double click, I just place my symbol in the drawing. So all the symbols are already made available in the library. All symbols are ISO 1219 compliant. And if you don't find the symbol that you need, I'll show you now in a minute how to create a new symbol. In the meantime, let me find for a strainer. And I place the strainer just here and edit. This will be a STR 045. I don't remember now exactly the part number for MP filter. That's a strainer and MP filter. Of course, you can copy the symbols in the drawing. So Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and that will be the same symbol, same component data. NetSkeme comes with sketch a functionality like you can do a rectangle, and but this is not a symbol. So let's say that instead of that envelope line, I want to create a symbol that is similar to this one. For well, let me just, instead of making with a rectangle, I make just some lines. So I just select all the entities and do a Control-C. It is possible to create a new symbol entering into my symbol library. And let me paste those entities in the drawing. And you can make things larger. So just selecting and moving items. And here we can also just draw additional items. It is possible to use a snap to object. So you can work with the grid, but if you want to be more precise, you can use the snap to object, which is this icon here, snap to object at F3, similar to AutoCAD. Let me make just a small horizontal line and copy and paste it here. Okay, so that's my symbol, and I want to save it. Well, it is possible to add also connection point. So my reservoir will have 2 tank lines, so I'll add a T1 port and another one that is called T2. I put them not 2 but T2. I put them here, and later I will use this point as a connection for the return lines. So I will just make 2 vertical lines representing my. It is possible to change colors, so we can select the entities and change a color to the object. So those will be return lines, and the reservoir, if you want to stay with ISO connection lines, it must be yellow. But in this case, we are just changing colors. We are not changing layer according to ISO for these symbols, unless you start from symbols that are already made in the Hydro library. On the left, as you see, we have building blocks that can be very handy to build a symbol according to ISO rules, but it is possible also to insert any other symbol to start from. That will be my basic symbol for today. So I will just save symbols. If you forget to save symbol and click exit, this will ask you to save the symbol, and I click yes. And now my symbol will be stored into my working folders. So now let me save it here. That's I go to IFPE, and that will be my reservoir. You can build your own library structure in your file system. Now, if you want to use that symbol in the drawing, what we'll need to do, we need to click my symbol, and you go into the folder, and I'll take my reservoir and place my symbol in the drawing. Now I can get rid of the other options or the other entities, and I can make tank lines directly here. So those in insertion, those connection port came now handy to make all the connections. At present, it is not possible to edit a symbol in the drawing. You will be able to edit the symbol in the build mode and save again with the same name, but it is not possible to edit a symbol in the drawing canvas. So my filling cap will be somewhere here. Let me just, for completion, add a level indicator, and which I put somewhere on top here. And I can draw a horizontal line. This will not be it will not be part of the symbol. I will make it just yellow. Now everything looks good. So for my system, I'll need just a test point, so it makes more realistic. Let me go to the folders and go to a pressure gauge, and I insert a pressure gauge, and this one maybe is a Vika, and that's a pressure gauge 0350 bar. And let me put just a needle valve, shut off, line mounted. This one I rotate to the left position. I move the symbol here, and that will be maybe a edit. That will be a FT291 minus 14 of that's a needle valve. Well, gauge isolator of Tognella. Okay, I'm ready for my part list. So the parts will come with this command, and if you run it, it will be automatically adding all the items to the part list. But you can also reassign item IDs with the reassign item IDs command. NetSkeme will renumber all the items, grouping identical items also. So when you have identical items in the diagram, you will see 7A, 7B, and so on. It is possible to update the party just by clicking again insert part list command. And now this will, well, it was already updated just after running item ID. So item 7, the strainer, we have 2 of the same item. If you need to move the entire diagram, you just select it and use the arrow key or drag and drop the diagram in the drawing. But if you pay attention to precision, it's better to use the arrow keys, so all the entities will stay in the grid. Current version of NetSkeme is able to insert the port list as well. And let me just make room for that. If the drawing does not fit, you can always change the paper size. Now the drawing looks good, but in case you need, you can click on title block and change the size. So you can go to a larger size. But like I said, A3 will be simplified for my diagram. And let me insert again the part list, and I move again the diagram here. It is possible to type in the block, just double click, and the document type is a hydraulic diagram, and the title is high-low power unit, and it's created by myself. If you realize some items do not have a description, of course, you will be able to select the item, right click, edit, and reservoir IFPE. The description is reservoir, and the manufacturer is Vest. Since I see a friend from Eurofluid here at the booth, I'll just change the manufacturer of the manifold into Eurofluid Fluid Hydraulic. And now I can update the part list. And so we have now Eurofluid Hydraulics and the new reservoir. Similarly, you can do, but for the sake of time, I'm not filling all the items in the drawing. In terms of file type, what we have done is saved in the cloud, but we can download a DWG file. So by taking a DWG, you can select a different version of DWG files or make a PDF if you need to share with your customer. So DWG 2018 is my format, and I'll say save it as high-low power unit into my artifacts. Of course, this diagram can be then edited also with HydroCAD or with AutoCAD, and we'll speak about the integration between our software in terms of diagrams 2 days from now with another webinar, always from this IFPE show. Let's produce a PDF of the diagram, and that will be my high-low power unit PDF. And of course, we can go on and complete it. So normally in these cases, we'll need also a new port list. If you have any question, feel free to post in the question section. I'll be able to reply. That's M low pressure, and I place my. Of course, now we require update of the port list, which will be done just by clicking the update port list command. We can produce a PDF. And so this PDF will be then available for to share with our customer. Let me just open it. Sorry, it opened on the second screen, and that's our PDF ready to be shared with the customer. So, like I said, tomorrow I'll be showing how to design this hydraulic manifold without any CAD system on the cloud, like we are doing. So, just few more information. Like I said, NetSkeme is fully cloud-based. You don't need powerful software. Here in the IFPE, we have some Chromebooks that can be used to test it. So really, it works on inexpensive machine. It's compatible with almost all the operating system because practically it works on a web browser. Of course, like I said in the beginning, you'll need a Chrome, Edge, or Firefox browser. It makes a DWG compliant file, which means that it can also be used to open DWG files. There are some incompatibilities in terms of entities, but more or less it should be getting open fine. There is a higher compatibility with DWG made with HydroCAD, and we'll discuss about it in the next webinar 2 days from now. So I don't see any questions. So if there are not, I'd like to thank you for the attention, and see you tomorrow if you have subscribed for the NetBlock webinar. I turn it over to you, Frank.
Alrighty, thanks, Carlo. We hope everybody found this to be a compelling webinar showing our latest and most powerful features introduced in NetSkeme Hydraulic. If you've not already done so, we urge you to navigate to netskeme.com and sign up for a free trial evaluation. Tomorrow, you'll receive an email containing a link to view a replay of today's session. Feel free to share this link with your colleagues. A link to view video segments from prior webinars will also be provided in that email. As you can see, we also have the webinar series posted on various social media channels. We invite you to follow these channels so that you can receive the latest updates on our upcoming webinars. Our next webinar is scheduled to occur tomorrow, Wednesday, March 15th, where the latest and dramatic new features in our online manifold design application, NetBlock 3D, will be revealed. Thanks again, Carlo. Thanks everybody for attending today's session. Have a pleasant and safe day.